What's up? This is Hoppe Hour on the phone line from the Roger and JP show on 102.3 WBAB and 102.5 The Bone. JP is on Hoppe Hour. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man? So you got to tell me what happened last week with these old ladies. I heard they were flocking to you.
Dude, I don't know. It's very bizarre. So there's a reason, and I can't figure it out why, but there has to be an answer why older women like me. I don't get it, JP. I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of not. I used to really be into it like 3 years ago, but now that I'm like 25, kind of more into like women between the ranges of like 25 to 37. But dude, for some reason, women in their late 40s love me, dude.
From what I understand, those women were far beyond their late 40s.
Really?
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing closer to 60 plus.
Not that old, bro. It was more like late 50s.
I don't know. Well, that's not what I'm hearing, but whatever. How come you went home alone that night? You had no reason to.
Well, I got pretty drunk at Ian's party, and then, I don't know, I think Monica was reading way too much into it. I was just talking to the bartender, and she was like, oh, you were totally flirting with her. I'm like, no, I wasn't.
Whatever, man. You got to open up your eyes to the signals. You'll get them, my man. What else is going on? I didn't even know you were still doing Hoppe Hour. I thought you gave it up or something.
I didn't give it up. I just don't do as many interviews. I used to interview all these radio people, and then Mike O one time said, we never get to hear your voice. We just hear you interviewing other people. So then ever since then, I've just been doing the show. It's like me talking about the news and playing local rappers and local rock bands. So I'm trying to build something. All
right, good for you, man. Keep it up.
How has the show been? Because it's going on 4 years that you've been on the bone.
Yeah, you know something? I think it's over 4 years. I don't even know. Or right around 4 years. Yeah, it's been quite a ride, you know. It's the Bone Show is like around 4 years. Roger and JP on Long Island is 19 years. We celebrated 19 years on January 4th. So yeah, man, it's been a little hectic, a little bit of a whirlwind, but it's all good, man. All good happening in the world of Roger and JP. Thank God. Everybody's healthy. Show's going strong. Ratings are great. No complaints.
How much has the show grown since when it first began on the Bone and then now?
Dude, when we first began on the Bone, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. You know, we never did talk radio before. You know, we do a rock show on Long Island. We play music in the morning. We play 6-7 songs an hour in the morning. So it's, you know, you start something, you stop, reset, start it up, go again, bring callers in, and, you know, it's a completely different beast. But, you know, when we first came on there, RBF was in the studio with us. She left, and then Monica had an opportunity and absolutely seized it. You know, she takes a lot of abuse, but, you know, she's really good in that spot. And she rounded out the show really well. Brett's definitely stepped up, and he's starting to feel his own. It's good. It's good. I'm really happy. And I'm not normally very happy, but I'm very happy with the status of both shows, actually.
You have seemed to kind of go through like mood swings where like I feel like 1 year you're happy, then the next year you're kind of grumpy. But I feel like this version of you that I'm talking to right now is very chill. It's very different.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I was, not to be a bummer, but for a big portion of this time we've been on in Tampa, I was dealing with serious depression. Serious depression and a lot of personal issues and stuff that you try to like put behind you and go into and do a show and be a pro. And sometimes you're able to do that, and sometimes the dark stuff sneaks out onto the air. But now I would say for the past, say, 8 to 10 months, it's been much better. I found a doctor. Turns out it was a lot of hormone stuff. My body wasn't making testosterone. It was making too much estrogen. I had a thyroid issue. So we got everything in alignment where it's supposed to be. My entire life changed. So for the better. So I knock on wood, and I hope everything stays the way it is, because right now things are really, really great.
When you were in your mid-20s, were you often overthinking things about like what the future would hold?
No. I wasn't like that until I think we almost got fired doing mornings. I don't know if we almost got fired, but the show wasn't doing really well. Nobody was really teaching us. We were just kind of thrown into it and like figure it out. And the layout was, Raj did the prep, and I had to try and make it funny or whatever it was. And then we had this like kind of come to Jesus meeting with our GM at the time, who was Kim Guthrie. Actually, no, she had already gone up to be a regional vice president, but she was still in charge. And our GM, this guy Austin Valley, was a total dick. And I think he wanted us out, but Kim came in because Kim put Roger and I together, and she just kind of came in and said, "Listen, guys, we got to turn this ship around." And then I said, "You know what? I'm not going to go out like this." So I started taking on more of a role with show prep, and then I have the ideas in my head. It's much easier for me to deliver on ideas that I have in my head than it is to try and make somebody else's ideas my own, So once we made that switch, all of a sudden the entire game changed. And the ratings went up, and we ended up being, number one in the market. And I'm not saying it was because of me. It's just we changed the dynamic of the way we did things. We had no choice. Roger was able to feed off me better. I was able to feed off Roger better, and things just started to click. We brought Ted in. We had Brett for a little while, but then we lost him for a couple of years, and we got him back. That was one of the best things that happened to the show, because it was just Brett has always been that missing piece, and now everything is, like I said, everything is cool. I forgot what the original question was. I apologize.
It's all good. How did you first meet Brett? Because he's been on and off the show twice.
He was only gone once.
Yeah.
Something. Fuck, I don't even remember. He must have been recommended to us by someone, and he was like an assistant producer on our show.
Yeah.
Originally, I think my old producer Hillary brought him in, and instantly, like, he was just cool, and he did voices, and you could see there was a lot of talent there. But the thing about Brett is his work ethic is ridiculous. The dude just doesn't shy away from getting a job done. He really doesn't. And he's super, super talented. So, when we lost him, we didn't want to lose him. I think they didn't think our show was long for existence, so they were going to probably try and get rid of us. So they moved Brett over to their sister station, and we tried to take him back, and then there was money issues, I believe, like on the corporate side of things, as always. And when we had to let him go, that was like the Santa Claus issue for me was a bad thing, and that was like one of the worst days of my career was the day we had to let Brett go. And then we tried hiring him back for years, and he kept telling us to go fuck ourselves. He was like, fuck you guys, I ain't coming back. And then something happened at his gig, and it wasn't working out, so we were able to scoop him back up again. And I'm very happy we did,
Does it feel good that over time you have proved people wrong, the same people that wanted you guys gone, that you guys proved them that over time you guys were able to make it work?
There's only two people I think that we proved wrong along the way, and that was an old PD and that old GM. Yeah. Because I think they were betting against us. And I don't know if we had a ton of support in Tampa when we got there. I think there was a lot of concern about us not being in the market and all that other stuff, and us not being able to relate. But we really hit our stride quickly. I would say within the first 6 months, we were up at number one men, top five, in and out of top five adults, and now we've steadily been top five in both. So it's it's good to tell people to go fuck themselves. It feels good. It feels good because I'll tell you this, and this is not ego. This is not anything but. I'll bet on us every time because I know the work ethic that's in this show between me, Roger, and Brett. No one's going to stop until we're winning.
It does seem like you guys have a good team where it seems like everybody puts in their fair share of work.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No question about it. What you said before, was in my mid-20s did I overthink things? I said it wasn't until we almost lost our gig in mornings And then when I got married and I had the pressures of a house and a wife and all that other shit, then I really went into a bad place with that stuff, with panic attacks and all that other kind of crazy shit. And it wasn't until the last few years, I was getting comfortable, and then we took on this challenge of the Tampa show.
Yeah.
So now I had something to drive me again, to make me crazy. And it definitely did. Those first 6 months were like, I got to get this to work. And then all of a sudden we had that first, ratings that came in where we were number one men and top three adults. And I was like, all right, now I got to maintain it. So there's always something to. But that's when I started overthinking it, those 2 moments.
I want to ask you this, because I've been thinking about this, because now that I'm single, everybody, whenever I'm on the bone, they want to know, how's Tinder going? How's Bumble going? And when I tell anybody that works here that's over 32 about it, they give me these like puppy eyes where they wish they had it in the 90s and the 80s. What do you think it would have been like if 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when you first were even working promotions at WBAB, what would it have been like if your generation had dating apps?
I wouldn't have used them.
Really?
I don't think I would have used them. I don't think I would have used them.
I think you say that, but there would have been a night, bro. You'd be bored of your house, maybe drinking a little, watching a TV show, let's say Friends or whatever is on, and you're like, I'm kind of alone. I think you would have dabbled in it. I don't think you would have done it long, but you definitely, because that's what a lot of people say, and I think they say that, but when you're bored, it's something to do.
Well, listen, I think times were different. I think women now, especially young women, they've grown up in a world where, their idea of being a virgin was anal sex so it didn't break a cherry. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of delusional shit. And porn was free and everywhere. When I was your age, when I was that age, that wasn't the case. And I don't think women you couldn't just swipe right just to go get laid. I don't think it was like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I think these apps work for these times. I don't think they would have worked that. I could be very wrong. But I don't think it's the same. I think the culture towards casual sex in the country has definitely loosened. And you can tell by the amount of nudity that's on television and how far they'll use language on regular television. It's changed big time. Dude, the world lost their mind when Janet Jackson's nipple fell out. Do you know that? Lost their mind.
It ruined radio.
Ruined it. Because everybody had their assholes clenched because they were worried, something that was a $12,000 fine became a $250,000 fine. And there was still no rule book. So we couldn't get the FCC to tell us what we could and could not do, where the line was. We never knew where the line was. The line was right up until somebody called in to pitch a bitch. And then all of a sudden, now you got social media, and now everybody's got an opinion. Fuck them. I don't care.
Dude, for people that haven't checked out your show, why should they listen to Roger and JP on WBAB or on the Bone?
You'll relate to us. At any given moment, one of us is going through or dealing with something you have coming up, you're in the middle of, or went through, and we're honest, and there's no bullshit. Like nobody's trying to be anything they're not. Not on our show, and I think that's the same case with a lot of the stuff on the Bone. You have a lot of very different people, all being themselves, and we all connect to some part of the audience. There are people that hate me and love Raj. There are people that don't like Raj but love me. Everybody loves Brett.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's just it works, and you'll laugh. And you'll get angry, and you'll want to punch me in the face, or you'll think Roger's a pussy sometimes, or whatever. It's just a big, it's balance. It's balance.
Well, dude,
I think anybody can find part of themselves in someone on our show, and that includes Monica on Long Island, in Tampa.
Well, dude. Keep up the good work. It's been a lot of fun having you on, and thank you for everything over the years.
No worries, Hoppy. Anytime, my man. You know, I got to be honest with you. You kind of suck with follow-through. Because you've been asking me, and I've been telling you yes, and then you disappear.
I didn't disappear.
Bullshit.
Wait, so what are you saying? Like, I sent you a text a year ago?
I've said yes a bunch of times, and then all of a sudden I don't hear anything.
All right. So that was like maybe a year ago. I was at the end of my time with my ex, so I was not as accurate and as good at my job, which is why I'm single now. It's because I was looking back at a lot of texts. There was a lot of people I hit up that I didn't respond to, even though you guys graciously got back to me. So that's why I'm kind of doing this like redemption tour of like my radio life because, dude, it's frightening. I would be lying if I told you being single at times is kind of boring and I miss being in a relationship. But, dude, it's so nice to not have to worry about what I'm doing on air because I was a part of bits for your show where I would hear about it for a whole day because I was engaged. And there's something to be said about being single. So now my new thing is I'm not letting a girl change me because I've done it twice while you've been here. And that's like, it was a wake-up call, bro.
Good for you, man.
Thank you. So, yeah, that's why,
You're a good dude and you're a hustler. It'll all work out.
Thank you,
How
bro.
old are you?
25.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. You're young. I realized, dude, I didn't start doing mornings. When I was 25, I was driving the vans. I was doing promotions. I was doing what you were doing.
I know.
I wasn't getting airtime when I was 25. You know? I didn't start doing mornings until I was 28. I did promotions for like 4 years.
Damn. I didn't know that.
And then I was just about to leave, and I had an offer to go be an assistant in one of the record labels. And then at the same time, the morning guy on WBAB was leaving, and then they were moving Roger in, and then Kim said, Raj, what do you think you need to do mornings? And he said, I want JP. And I didn't know. And all of a sudden I got a phone call. It was like, we want you to do mornings. I was like, what the fuck? What? And then the rest is history, 19 years later.
Was it crazy to be in the same hall as Opie and Anthony?
I told you this last time. I produced, they had, when I say I produced, 1 day a week or 2 days a week, I was in the studio while that show was going on. But they weren't Opie and Anthony yet. That was Opie's nighttime attitude, and Anthony and his brother Joe were like guests that would come in, and it just got more regular and more regular. And then, Opie knew he had something because the one thing about Opie, whatever you can say, he knows the business, and he knew what he had in Anthony. He knew it, and he was 100% right. He knew he had gold. He knew they had the chemistry, and he went and they crushed it for a long, long time.
Yeah, dude, they made a lot of money.
They sure did. They made a lot of money for not working. Those motherfuckers, they made millions being suspended. That's my dream.
You know how awesome that sounds to make all that money for having a couple have sex in a church? Like, how legendary is that?
That was only one time.
Yeah, and then the mayor thing too.
The mayor thing. Funny thing about that was Roger was the news guy that called in.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right, because they called Roger because Roger's got that voice, and Roger was doing afternoons. I hope he was up in Boston, and called Roger. They go, listen, we need you to say the mayor's dead. and Roger was like, all right.
Oh my God.
That was it.
You could not do that now. It's kind of sad because I miss that type of like edginess we used to have, but it's also kind of better.
Yes and no. I mean, I wish you could still do stuff like that. Radio companies used to stick by, and I'll say this about Cox, and I'm not really kissing anybody's ass. They're better with standing by their talent than a lot of companies are.
A lot of companies will just get rid of you and never hear from you again. There's people that have literally left Cox and then came back. Yeah,
especially if you are making a lot of money. If you're making a lot of money and, the ratings aren't there, or you're in a little bit of they'll fire you and maybe bring you back at less money, but maybe.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, I got to fly, man.
All right, dog. It was good talking to you.
All right, bro. I wish you the best.
All right, thank you, bro. All right, see ya.
That's my Hoppe Hour T-shirt, bro.
You need one.
Shit ain't right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you, dude.
Bye.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.